Dot and the Kangaroo. Part 1. Dot loses her way. It was a big, bright-eyed hare that led Dot away from the farm. She was in the garden picking flowers when it suddenly sprang out in front of her. Without thinking, Dot followed it through the gate and towards the trees. "Don't go too far from the house," her mother called out from the kitchen window. "It's easy to get lost in the bush." But the hare kept stopping, looking back at Dot, and then disappearing again. And each time, Dot went after it. Then suddenly, with a huge leap, the hare vanished. Dot looked around her. The trees and bushes all looked the same in every direction. She ran and ran, hoping to catch sight of her house. But it was no good. She was lost in the bush, and it was just starting to get dark. She buried her face in her hands and began to cry. When she looked up, a big grey kangaroo was standing a few feet away. It stared at Dot for a moment, its head on one side, then bounded away and returned with a spray of coloured berries cradled in its paw. It offered them to the little girl. Dot dried her eyes on her dress, took the berries and ate them. Then a very strange thing happened. She could hear sounds everywhere, like 100 different voices all talking at once. Then she heard another voice, louder and clearer than all the rest. "I knew what was the matter at once," said the kangaroo gently. "I've been miserable ever since I lost my baby kangaroo. You've lost something too, haven't you?" "Well, yes," mumbled Dot, still wondering if she was in a dream. "I have, actually. I've lost my way." "Ah," said the kangaroo. "I thought you'd lost something. Isn't it an awful feeling? You feel sort of empty inside. Tell me what your way looks like. Perhaps I've seen it, or we can look for it together." Dot laughed and tried to explain that she could not find her way home. "Ah, that's just like you humans," said the kangaroo. "If you've only had one home, you're bound to lose it. But if you made your home everywhere and anywhere, it'd never be lost. Humans are no good in the bush." Dot wasn't really listening. She was thinking how hungry and thirsty and lost she was. "Still," continued the kangaroo after a pause, "you're only a little human. It's not really your fault. You must be very thirsty, because I get thirsty at sundown too. Climb into my pouch and we'll hop off to the waterhole for a drink. Then I'll try to find your way for you." So Dot got to her feet and climbed into the kangaroo's furry pouch. As they bounded away, Dot was rocked in her cosy pocket and felt so snug that she sang a little song to herself. "That's a nice tune," said the kangaroo. "But please stop singing now. We're getting near to the waterhole." Dot peeped out of the pouch and then wished she'd stayed curled up inside. The kangaroo was hopping down such a steep slope. Huge rocks lay on either side, and there seemed to be no footholds anywhere. Dot shut her eyes. Surely the kangaroo would lose her balance any minute and plunge them both over the side of the gully. But the kangaroo slowly picked her way to the bottom and came to a big boulder that hung right over the waterhole. The rough surface of the stone shone like a looking glass, reflecting the glow of the twilight sky. For thousands of years, kangaroos had polished the stone with their soft, feet and tails on their way to drink at the waterhole. She was just turning to hop down from the rock when a bronze-winged pigeon called out to her, "Kangaroo, roo, roo, take care. Humans were here last night and they killed 10 of us. We flew down for a drink, just a little sip, and they were waiting for us. Now we're too frightened to drink again, and we're so thirsty." Dot shrank back into the pouch, trembling with fright at the pigeon's awful words. But the kangaroo bravely stepped forward, raised her black nose, and sniffed the air. Well, there's not a sound, nor a smell. It should be safe. Get out, little human, and wait here while I check. Dot climbed out of the pouch onto the ground, and the brave kangaroo skipped quietly to the water's edge. Dot could hardly bear to watch. Would the hunters be waiting, their sharp spears at the ready? Was it them stirring the long reeds by the water's edge, or just the fishes? The kangaroo kept her head bent and drank. Tonight, at least, the waterhole was safe. Soon, hundreds of little birds whirred past them to the edge of the pool, dipping their bills into the water. Then, as quickly as they had come, they whirred back into the bushes. Dot was as frightened as they were. She quickly ran to the water, drank down 3 gulps, and ran back to the rock where the kangaroo was waiting. "Jump in," said the kangaroo. "It's never safe for long beside the pool. The humans know all our drinking places." Under a bright and starry sky, the kangaroo hopped along with Dot pressed close against the warm, soft fur of her pouch. Eventually, they arrived at a cave, and curling up together on the dry, sandy floor, they both slept at once. When Dot awoke next morning, she somehow knew she was in danger. Then she saw it. There, lying coiled on her stomach, was a big black snake. And the kangaroo had gone. Dot's heart thumped. She dared not move. And suddenly, from outside the cave, came a loud shriek of laughter.
Don't be afraid,
A voice chuckled.
keep still and no harm will come to you. I'll kill the snake.
Dot turned her head a little and looked out of the cave's mouth to see a big white kookaburra perched on the branch of a tree. His long, sharp beak gaped as if he was grinning, and under his breath he kept repeating,
What a joke. Oh dear me, what a joke.
"I don't see anything funny about it," thought Dot.
The kangaroo's going to get some berries for your breakfast,
Said the kookaburra.
She asked me to keep an eye on you, but that cunning old snake slipped in while I went to see the white owl about my terrible indigestion. Ha! What a joke, eh? What a joke!
That very moment, the snake shivered and its coils began to unfold. Dot felt quite sick as it slithered over her bare legs, but she didn't move a muscle. Slowly, the snake slid off her body onto the floor and wriggled away through the entrance of the cave. As soon as the snake was outside the cave, the kookaburra dived down and snatched the snake's neck in his powerful beak and lifted it off the ground. Writhing and hissing with fury, the snake couldn't escape. The kookaburra dragged it up into the tree. Whack! 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 3 times the big beak lashed it against the tree, and the snake lay dead across the bough.
Did you see that, hey? Ooh, what a joke!
Dot shuddered, but the bird was still chuckling and telling some of his friends what had happened when the kangaroo returned. She scolded the kookaburra for letting the snake into the cave and led Dot away from the horrid sight of the dead snake. Then she emptied her pouch to give Dot a breakfast of buds and berries. The strange breakfast tasted wonderful. "Thank you so much. You're very kind," said Dot. "But I really would like to find my way home." "Well, I've asked everyone I've met," said the kangaroo, putting her head on one side, "and they all agreed that there's only one person who'll know where it is." "Oh, who's that?" "Well, everybody says I should ask the platypus." "Do you think he'll know?" asked Dot. "Oh, yes, I expect he will." So Dot and the kangaroo set off to find the wise old duck-billed platypus.